Okay, let's get started. My name is Michelle Nielsen-Ott, and today I am your librarian, and so I'll be going over some of the resources available to you that you should be using to incorporate into your research papers and for this class and for many other classes that you'll be having throughout your academic career. So I just wanted to help you think about resources differently and how to incorporate them and what you should be using for academic research. We'll be doing that by going over two different worksheets. These worksheets are linked up in your Blackboard site. One is called Credibility of Websites, and the other one is called Research Keyword Activity. So we'll be going through both of those together today, and then you will need to complete what we don't complete in the session today as your homework, and then you will email those to me. Each worksheet is worth 25 points. So you'll need to, for a total of 50 points. So both of these are due to me right after spring break. Email them to me and I will give you your information, and I will send information, make comments and send them back to you later that week. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about research with credibility of websites. Well, a lot of people tell me when they, come to the library and when I'm in a classroom talking to students, they say the first thing they do is they go to a Google site or something like they go to Google or Yahoo or Bing or whatever their search engine of preference is, and they do a search. And then they just find kind of websites that work for them. They kind of use, a lot of times they say they use the first one or the first two, and then that's how they decide what sources to use. And there's actually a better way. You really need to start thinking about your resources, the websites that you're using specifically, by using this thing we call the CRAP test. And CRAP is an acronym, and CRAP stands for Credibility, Reliability, Authority, and Purpose Point of View. So that actually everything that I'm talking about with the CRAP test is found on the second page of the Credibility of Websites worksheet. But let's just kind of go through one-on-one on how, point by point, about what the CRAP test is. Oh, and I did want to mention that if you have a question throughout the session, please feel free to chat that question with the little chat bubble. But please first raise your hand so that I get a noise notification that you are going to type a question. That helps me know that I need to look back at the chat. Otherwise, I don't get a notification. So raise your hand and then type in a chat if you have a question throughout this session. So, okay, back to the CRAP test. So, like I said, currency, reliability, authority, and purpose point of view. So, C, currency. So, you have to think about your topic and how current the information needs to be for your topic. So, for example, if we're talking about the refugee crisis in Europe and the war in Syria, you're probably going to need some really up-to-date information because that information is changing all the time. If you have information from 2-3 years ago, that information may still be useful because it gives you kind of a historical overview, but you can't be giving that, you can't be presenting that as the most recent information in a topic, something that, in a current topic like that. But if you're doing a research project on, let's say World War II, and you have a book from 2-3 years ago, or even 10 years ago, that might still be as current enough for you. Or a website that hasn't been updated in a couple of years might still be current enough for you when you are looking at currency, depending on your topic. Reliability. So the content we want to know is if the content that is in the web page, if it's if it's factually based or opinion, and if it has reference resources and it quotes. You have to write a paper and you're going to have to include quotes and sources, so your sources should use sources, right? You want to make sure that they are at least up to the same standards that you have to do, right? You want to make sure that you're having sources and they're having sources. Otherwise, that information is just being maybe made up. You don't know. I could say right now that 80% of 4-year-olds love Paw Patrol. And, you know, that probably is true, but I don't know. You know, that's just kind of a made up number that I just made off the top of my head. I have no research to back that up. So you want to always make sure that claims are always backed up with resource. So A, authority. An authority is, we're looking at author. Who is right? Who's putting this out? Is this a company? Is this a person? Who is writing this? What is the author? Is the author credentialed? Are they a doctor or a nurse? Do they have a PhD, or are they a professor in the subject? Are they, you know, somebody who's worked 20 years in the field, somebody who's studied this topic immensely, or are they just, you know, somebody who's, yeah, I thought I'd write a web page on this. You have to kind of look and see who it is and why are they writing it. You know, are there advertisements on the page? Are they doing it so that they can support a group? Like, I'm gonna write about, you know, this is an issue, and guess what? If you just buy this, your issue will be solved, right? You know, then there's kind of that bias, which kind of takes us to the purpose point of view, which is that why. Why is this here? You know, is the site a bias? Is it trying to sell you something? Why is it here? What is it doing? Is it here for information's sake, or what is happening with it? So those are kind of the points that you want to think about when you're thinking about a website. When you're looking at a website, I definitely go through and look at all those points to decide if that is a website that I want to use for my research. So if you look at the credibility of websites worksheet, we have 5 different links that you will look at, websites that you will look at, and decide if it is a credible or not credible source and why by using the CRAP test. So and all the links are all about mad cow disease. And mad cow disease, or bovine spongiform encephalopathy, as the technical scientific name is a disease that was really kind of a hot topic in the 90s. There was a cow, you know, like the issue was, you know, is beef safe, and things like that. So there's some research. So these websites are all talking about mad cow disease or spongiform encephalopathy. And so, like, if a mad cow, well, if a cow had mad cow disease, it would affect their brain, and then they would act kind of crazy and like fall down, and so that's why it's called mad cow disease. And then if a human were to consume the beef of a cow that had mad cow disease, that human would become very, very sick as well. So that's kind of the background on what mad cow disease is. I've done this project with several classes, and I've realized that a lot of students don't even know what mad cow disease is. But when I was growing up, it was kind of an issue. So I just want to give it a little background. All right. Well, the first website we're going to look at is this one. It's the first one listed on your worksheet, and I'm going to go through kind of doing the CRAP test on this worksheet on this website, and then you can go through the other 4 on your own for the homework. So this one, bscinfo.org. When I come to a website, I start looking for things. I start looking for who's, you know, I look for author, I look for resources to see if they're listing fact-based information. I'm looking for recent information, and I'm looking to see if there's anything that makes me think that they're biased. So let's just kind of look here. All right, currency. If I just kind of scroll around here, I'm going to scroll to the bottom. We have a copyright 2016, so that means at least they are somewhat active on this site. But when I also scroll down here, I see this: for more information, contact the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And that makes me go, So that makes me think that this is the sponsor of the site. So we'll come back to that in a second. But reliability, let's think about that. Is it factually based or opinion? Is there references and quotes? Well, there's this section up here called scientific resource. So I can click here. And this is a list of veterinarians, mostly. The DVM is a doctor of veterinary medicine. So, and we have some MDs, so we have medical doctors as well. So they're looking at, and PhDs, so doctorates of philosophy, or philosophy, yeah, here. So we have a lot of pretty smart people, pretty educated people that are sections that view sections of the web page and are their scientific reviewers. So that looks like it has some good credentials and some good authority. Does it appear to be trying to sell you something? That's a good question. So usually you can answer that by looking in the About section. The About section is where a website will tell you its purpose, right? So if you go into an About section of any website, it will give you the mission, like really why it exists. And that helps you understand the why they're putting out the information they're putting out, because you can only put out, you're only going to put out the information that supports your company, right? You can't put out every bit of information about everything. You're going to put out the best information that supports your mission. So you can see here that there, it says here, BSC Info is funded by the Beef Checkoff Program and managed by the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And that's what we saw when we scrolled down to the bottom here, to contact for more information, National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And so really this is a website and a company or group that is funded by the National Cattlemen, or managed by the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, which are people who are in charge of selling beef. And so they have definitely are they trying to sell you something? Yeah, they're trying to sell you beef. Like in the end, they're trying to do that. I mean, they're not saying buy beef, flashing lights on here, but they want to make sure that you know that beef is safe. And yes, beef is safe in the United States, but they want to make sure you definitely know that it is. So I would say that this website is, I mean, like partially credible. I think some websites are maybes, yes, no, why. So you can make a yes or no why case here. So I would say, maybe because it has good sources and there's lots of information, but maybe not, because it's a little kind of, might have a little bit of a bias to it as well. When you think something has a little bit of a bias to it, or you're not sure if this is the best website, always look and see what they're going, like right here, they're talking to the USDA. The USDA is a great resource. Maybe you should go to the USDA instead. Look at their sources and go back to their sources and try to get information from those instead of just getting the information from this website. The next website that's listed on your worksheet is the cdc.gov. You can look at that. And then the next one after that is Wikipedia. The one after that is organicconsumers.org. And the one after that is drday.com. So you can go through and determine the credibility of each of these websites and why you think they're credible or not credible, what you're seeing there. Oh, I wanted to go back to this BSC info one because it's a .org. A lot of people see it as a .org, as something that's 100% truthful and would never lie to you because it's a nonprofit organization. Really, lots of great websites end in .org, like cancer.org. The American Cancer Society is a .org, but not all websites that are .org are, have unbiased, filtered information. Like it's all filtered actually. So there's no one person or group of people who are monitors of the entire internet, right? So anyone who puts out anything doesn't have to get through an approval process for it to get printed or or published online. So but that's not true for two different types of websites, .edus and .govs. So as a .gov, there is a monitor, the government has moderation and monitors the information that they put out and make sure that it's as accurate as possible. And .edus have the same way too. So colleges and universities that are putting out research and studies and information, just information that way, they also go through a process to make sure they're putting out the best information possible. .coms, .biz, .edu, or not .edu, .com, .biz, .info, .com, whatever, they don't have that same oversight. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people just see .org and they just go good and move on, and that's not always true. So be leery of the .orgs as much as you are with the .coms. You have to make sure that you're using your critical thinking skills for all of them. Now, the next thing we're going to move on to is another worksheet called the keyword activity. And this is, we're going to go through thinking about how to think about your topic, and then also then starting to do a search in Academic Search Complete, which is one of our best and broadest based websites, databases that you can access online. So we're going to do that by starting out with this. This is the keyword challenge. So actually the first thing that's on this keyword activity is write a sentence that describes your topic. So that would probably be your thesis statement or else your research question. Like, what is it that you're getting at? What is your project, your paper, whatever it is, can be summed up in a sentence usually, or 2 sentences or something like that. But write a sentence there, number one, your thesis statement or your question, what you're trying to decide in detail, what describes your topic. And then 2, on this worksheet, you're going to come up with keywords or main word concepts. And it's not always easy to come up with these words. You know, you think, oh, this is exactly my topic, these words. Maybe like our computer system, you know, like in a database or maybe Google, they don't think that's the best word choice, and they're not going to really give you a lot of results because it's confused on the terms that you're using. Or is this really the best term to be using? Are you asking the whole question into the database, or are you just pulling out the main words? So that's what we're going to do in this or in this challenge. We're going to go through a question together and determine what words are the best words to use in a search query. A query is the term that we use to define or to call the terms that are put into a search box. So that's your query. We're going to do this, the Buffalo Challenge. Feel free to come back. I've linked this site up on the Blackboard site and see if you can do these other challenges. It's just kind of fun. It only takes a few minutes. And it really starts making you think about how you construct a sentence or how you construct a keyword query. So let's do the Buffalo Challenge. So in this challenge, what we do is that there are 4 categories of words that make up most queries, search tasks. We have the keywords, we have intermediate words, we have words that probably have little effect on the outcome, and we have stop words. So there's our 4 categories. Let's talk about each one of them. Keywords are words that are essential to finding what you're looking for. They're very powerful, and they're going to return results that are very close to the top of your list. Intermediate words are words that are important ideas, but probably aren't effective as is. So that means that there's probably a synonym or professional vocabulary that may be substituted. And a lot of times that's what we have with searching academically. Use that professional vocabulary, what people in the field will call it, that sort of term. And then we have words that have little effect. So these are clutter words that are either redundant, they have part of the idea that isn't really spot on, like the intermediate words and the keywords. It just kind of detracts from the query's effectiveness. And then stop words. Stop words are just insignificant words. They're really common parts of speech, like articles, then, of, pronouns, he, she, is, you know, prepositions, etc. These are words that a search engine will ignore unless you place them in quotes. So we need to make sure that you're not using these stop words when you're creating your search query, because it wastes your time by typing them in, and B, it's just a more effective search term or query would be to just leave them out because they're not being used anyway. So let's start with the question. We're going to start here. So here is our research question that we're looking at. How many buffalo are there today in North America, or how many buffalo are in North America today? So I will do how many students often fill this in. I know that we're virtual, so it's a little bit harder. We're usually, when we're in a face-to-face class, I can have people shout out terms or whatever, but we'll just kind of go with the flow today. So how is not a keyword or an important idea. It's definitely a stop word. It's not a word that is important to anything. Many, that's definitely an important word, but it's not a keyword because many, there's lots of other synonyms. We could have quantity, we can have number, like there's just like, that's just kind of a concept, right? We want to know concept. We need to know many, how many. Buffalo. Like people are like, oh, this is obviously about buffalo. We're going to put it here in the keywords. Are, not a word we need. There, also not a word we need. In, also not a word we need. North America, that's definitely, I think, keyword here. We want to move that here so that you can know that we're looking really about buffalo in North America. And then today, that's a concept that doesn't really, that needs more definition or alternative words maybe, because today, if you think about it, today could mean 21st century. Does it mean right now, March 18th, 2016? Is that what it means? Or does it mean, you know, in the last, since the last count, and the last count was in 2015 or 2014 or something like that. It's a very ambiguous term. So we want to make sure that we're using maybe possibly other terms there. So that's how most classes kind of think about this. Let's check our results. Oh no, so we have some problems, it says. You correctly identified 2 essential keywords. Well, we have 3, so that means 1 has to leave. You correctly identified 2 of 3 important intermediate words, so that means the one that's up here has to go down, and there are no clutter words, so we did well there, and there are 4 stop words, and we got all of those, so we're good there. So now here's the deal. Which one would you take down? And usually students go towards like North or America. No, actually, the word that we want to move down is buffalo, because buffalo is the word that we use to call all these animals buffalo, but their scientific name is bison. And so the actual keyword that we would want to use is bison, and not buffalo. So let's go ahead and do a little quick, yay, congratulations. So as you can see, we suggested our keywords as North America, and our important ideas are many, buffalo, and today, and then our stop words. So that's kind of what you're going to do now with on the keyword search activity. You're going to think about, right, you've written your thesis, and now you're going to think of at least 3 main words from your topic sentence, and then write 2 synonyms or related words in those connected boxes. And you're going to want to use main words. You can use like if you're talking about community colleges, that's one phrase that's going to go in one box. You're not going to put community in one and college in the other. Just like you're not going to put North in one and America in the other. You're going to use those together as a phrase for your term. And so instead of North America, you could use Canada and United States. You can use USA or America or something like that. Those are other synonyms. Also, when you're working on this worksheet, don't just go to like a thesaurus and just find synonyms. Think about words that really do help further your research in the question. So like that word for when we were using today, we're going to say, current number, or we can say number, or we can say quantity or amount or something like that as other words. And then obviously for buffalo, we're also going to look at bison, mostly just bison as your keyword. So you want to make sure that you're looking at those keywords. Once you have your keywords kind of set, you can move on to the searching phase. I really suggest that you start thinking about your topic in these keywords or keyword phrases, because it creates an easier job down the line. So if you have ideas of words and topic phrases that you want to use to find things, then finding things becomes easier. So when we go to a database, you'll be able to type in more. A lot of pre-thinking and pre-writing that really helps with the process later on. Some people will just jump in and start doing some research, but I really suggest that you take a few minutes and just think about your topic, think about the words, and then start doing your searching. So to do your search, ICC Library, we're going to go to the Academic Search Complete, and this is a database that the library supports monetarily so that you can have access for free. So this is the database contains information that you can't just get by Googling or whatever. You have to be a subscribing member to get to that information. So I'll show you how to get there. So from the ICC homepage, if you go to Around Campus, which is this block here, the first one down is Library. So go to Around Campus and click on Library. Then the library homepage will show up, and you'll be able to get into the databases this way by clicking on this red research box that's right here, the second box down, red research box. Click there. And then we're going to click on ICC's electronic resources. This is a listing of all of our electronic resources, or our databases as we usually call them. So we know the name of our database is Academic Search Complete, so we can easily go into the Sort Alphabetically link, click there, and go to A for Academic Search Complete, click on there, and then we can go down here to Academic Search Complete right here. What I like about Academic Search Complete is that it has titles from journals that span the broad range of academic topics. So you have science, and you have humanities, and you have law, and you have geology, and you have biology, and you have philosophy, and you have religion, and you have just pretty much any topic can be covered and found in Academic Search Complete. When you click on this link, from home, you're actually going to get a login screen. Again, like I said, the ICC Library pays for these, access to these, so it's just asking you to prove that you're an ICC student and that you have access to it. So you'll use your username, the same username you use for your Blackboard, your initials and those numbers, and then you'll use your default password, which is ICC in all capitals and the last 5 of your social security number to get in to the database. And you'll see here it comes up, and Academic Search Complete is here at the top. It's listed, and then it says it's from EBSCOhost over here. EBSCOhost is one of the main vendors for library databases, so maybe you've heard about them. They also do other databases like Business Source Premier or Greenfile or Searchosaurus. They have lots of different databases that they own and provide, but this one is Academic Search Complete. So I'm actually just going to continue our search question from our challenge and just talk about bison and North America. Okay. So, and I'm just going to do a search right there. And the reason why I put these in separate boxes is because this box here is a Boolean operator, and I don't know if any of you know what that is, but that's just kind of it's a direction for the computer. So it's obviously there's software that makes that changes your query, your words, into a results list. And so this is how you can talk to that software, by using these operators. So and combines 2 terms, and in these are all capitals. You have to use the all capitals for these words for it to work. So and in all capitals is combines 2 terms, so it's, and then it gives you more. So if you're using a term like buffalo or bison, where you would accept either, then you can put or there. And not is a term that you can eliminate results. So if you're doing research on bats, then you can say not baseball and not get things about baseball bats. Right, so that's what's really nice about Boolean operators. They help you combine terms and create a more specific search. You can also redefine refine your results over here on the left-hand side. A lot of people kind of ignore this over here, but it's so very helpful. Like here, we're going to click I always suggest to click the full text button, because that way you still have the full text. And still, we have over 3,000 results, so we have tons of information available to us. But we're looking at that today situation, so I'm going to put in the number. I'm just going to look for the last 2 years, or so, and I can update my search. So now here's just last a little bit over 500 results for bison in the last 2 years. And you can also refine your research by just source type, like I only want academic journals. You can also go into subject and just be like, oh, yep, specifically, maybe I do want United States. Specifically, I'm interested in 19th century, comparing that to current bison, whatever you're really looking at for your research. So let's just say this second one here is what we're really interested in. You click on that title, and then it brings up what's called the detailed record. And this is the information that you need for your MLA citations and for completing the worksheet. On this page 2 of the research keyword activity, what you're going to do is you're going to take words that you'd put into the boxes for number 2 on the first page, these words that define your topic and the synonyms, and combine them into a search strategy here in Academic Search Complete. And then you're going to do it again. So your first search is never your last search, right? So you're going to try different terms or try different redefining limiters over on the side. And then talk about which found the best results for your article and why do you think it was more successful. Your terms were more specific or whatever it is that you think that made it more specific or successful. Go ahead and fill that in. And then you want to, on number 6, on the worksheet, you're going to write down the following information. So you're going to write down authors and title and journal name and publication name and database name and volume and issue number. And that's all right here. It's the same information that you need for your citations. And then on number 7 on your worksheet, which is the last question, you'd say, why is this article a good source for your paper? But I'm going to go into now talking about how to access this article. How would I know if it's a good one? Well, here, the abstract gives you a great summary of what the article is about. For example, this is a 15-page paper. You can see right here, 15 pages. You don't want to read 15 pages and then find out it's not exactly what you wanted. So I always like to go over here to the full text and click on the PDF full text. And what it does is it brings up a page in your PDF reader that, looks just exactly like it did in the print journal. So you can see all the information. You can get journals, you can get the graphics, which often are disappear when it's not a PDF if you're just using the full text. And you can see it just kind of goes on, and it's very scientific and very specific on the information that it is presenting to you in this article. So maybe that's what you want, or maybe it's not. That's kind of up to you to decide based on reading the abstract and then maybe reading the article. Oh, let's go back into the thing. So if you do decide this one is an article that it really works for you and you definitely want to use it in your paper, you need to save it somehow. So when we were in that PDF viewer, you could definitely download it and save it to a flash drive, or you could have printed it. I also suggest to email it to yourself. So click this email button and you'll get an email with the link and, if available, the PDF attachment in email so that you don't have to go back and find it. I've had students say, oh, yep, I found this article and now I'm ready to, I don't know where it is, and we'll try to find it. But just because you oftentimes when you're searching, you try various search terms and you do limiters, what age, not age, but date range and things like that over on the side. If to totally perfectly recreate the search might not happen, and so then you might not find it, and then you're going to be sad. So I definitely recommend emailing it to yourself right here. There's another great feature right here, this site. You click there and this box pops up, and if you just scroll down just a little bit, here is the MLA format. Yay! So you can see actually that generated citations are usually pretty good. I would say they're 90% of the work is done for you, but you still need to check it up against a citation book, because I'm already seeing some issues right here. So and should not be capitalized. the should not be capitalized. This S should not be capitalized. So there's definitely some capitalization issues. I think that's the only thing that I'm seeing is just the title capitalization issues that I see that is wrong or needs to be corrected to be in proper MLA format. So you can see that there's just a few little things that you can change, and it would be in right as rain MLA format. So that's a really great way to find and use the database to get the information that you need. So then you can go on to the next title and the next title and the next title and just keep changing up your search terms and your limiters over on the side and finding the best research that you can for your topic. I'm going to jump back now to the ICC Library homepage here, because I also want to talk about what to do when you get stuck with some of this research and you're not sure what to do, or you're not sure what keywords are you, and you're like, I'm using these keywords, but gosh, I'm just not getting what I want. What is some of the professional vocabulary I can use that will help, my increase my likelihood of getting good sources? You can tell a librarian, and we'll be happy to help you do that. That is our job. We have master's degrees in library science. That means that we've studied how information works and how it's organized, and we're experts in this field, and we can help you find what you need. So to contact a librarian, I want you to click again on this research box. And before we are up here in ICC's electronic resources, now we're going to go down here into this Ask a Librarian section. All right. Here is a chat box that's staffed 20 hours a day. You can definitely chat with us up until 4 a.m. You can also text message us or use one of our LibGuides or email us or give us a call. We'd be happy to help you either any way you can. Of course, you can also just stop in the library and talk to a person face-to-face, but I know with online classes that's not always a possibility, so that sometimes you also just need access to a person remotely. So we do offer that. I also want to mention before our time is through here that we have this online library catalog right here is where you will search for books. So yes, books are still important. I talked about finding websites and finding journal articles, but our other big main way that our big main information package type of information item that we want is books or ebooks. And so they're still very important. Books are great for summarized knowledge and historical fact and issues like that. Journals are very good at, our newspaper articles are really good at having up-to-date information, really technical scientific information, things like that. And then websites are really great for also even really super up-to-date, like what just happened in the news before it was even being able to be published in print on the news. You can find out through websites. But again, like we said, you have to use that crab test and use your critical thinking on these things. So let's just do a quick search for bison here. And I'm just trying to see if we have any books. Let's just say we wanted, well, you can see here that I have books by just a stack that books, and then we have ebooks. And I'm just going to click here on the ebooks because I want to show you how to get that. So you click on that link, and then there's either an online access link here, or there's some sort of link down here where you just click, and then you'll get you'll navigate over into the ebook, and you can read it. We have several different vendors that do our ebooks, so each time you look at an ebook, it might look a little different from that aspect, but you can get into the ebook, and then you can start reading and searching for the information you need. You can also, of course, check out books. We have lots of really wonderful books for you to check out. And we also have digital videos that you can watch streaming online. So to do that, again, similar things, you would click on the link, and then you would also click on the online access, and you would be taken to the Films on Demand or an Alexander Street database to watch the video. If you want the book, make sure it's available. The location, EP Stacks is East Bay EDC is downtown, NC is the North Campus, and then you need to have this call number as well, and that is the address for where the book is located. So you can click on the title, of course, and you can see again the information you need for a citation, names and who's the publisher and when it was published. But you can also look at these topics here and click on, hey, I'm interested in this topic, and you can click on it, and then you'll get a new search results list with all the other books that have that exact same tag of topic right there. And you can also text yourself the call number by entering it here and sending the text message, and then you don't have to write down the call number, and you can just show the call number to a librarian or a library staff member, and they can take you to the book on the shelf, and you can check it out with your ICC library card, and you get it for 28 days. So that's a pretty good deal. All right, that's kind of the end of the information that I wanted to let you all know about today. Does anyone who's participating right now have any questions about the library or the information or the worksheets that I went over? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, so that's good. If you do have questions later on as you're doing the process, or you're not sure what to do on the worksheet, feel free to send me an email, and I would be happy to respond to that email as soon as I am able to. So thank you for participating today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day, and of course, a wonderful spring break next week. So have a great day.